All right, you can see right there the stock markets opened just a short time ago and they opened lower. This is stocks, bond yields while this is happening are also rising with the 30-year fixed over with a yield of over 5%, which has a lot of economists worried this morning. This all follows the decision from Moody's to lower the U.S. credit rating from a perfect AAA score is now below that. Moody's, the final of the three major credit rating agencies to downgrade the U.S. score. Part of the reason they cited was the debt could increase from this spending and tax cut bill that President Trump is supporting and is working its way through Congress right now. With us, CNN political commentator Paul Begala and former press advisor to then House Speaker John Boehner, Maura Gillespie. Paul, let me start with you. Again, the markets are one thing. Increasing the debt is another. This bill that got past the Budget Committee and is working its way through Congress, what are the politics surrounding that?
Well, it's not a bill. It's a political suicide note by the Republicans. They are in power because of the votes of working class Americans. That breaks my heart. But Donald Trump won the votes of people who make less than $50,000 a year. So what is Mr. Trump and the Republicans doing? They're pushing through a budget that kicks 13.7 million people off of Medicaid. Now, that's the Democratic number. Republicans say it's only 8 million. So let's take their number. Only 8 million people off of Medicaid. But by the way, 41% of all the babies born in America are paid by Medicaid. 63% of all the people in nursing homes are paid by Medicaid. And they're disproportionately in red states. And they're going to add $3 trillion to the debt. So they're cutting Medicaid, cutting their own voters, and increasing the debt by $3 trillion, which is what has Moody's so upset. Why? Because they got to cut taxes for the rich. I mean, this is the oldest playbook the Republicans have. And in that sense, I think it's going to be a political disaster for the Republicans.
So, Maura, what do you think about that? Because, look, economists have been worried for the last 6 weeks about the tariffs. This is a little bit of a new worry when you're talking about the debt and this bill working its way through Congress.
Certainly, but one of the things that Moody's pointed out was the reasoning that this would stay stable and wouldn't shift any further was largely due to the fact that we have an independent reserve. So I think that's important to remember that Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve is what's keeping a lot of this kind of still intact. But to the Medicaid cuts and to those things, it comes down to messaging. Republicans need a message why they support this bill, and saying it's cuts to Medicaid as opposed to reforming Medicaid has been the messaging tactic for Republicans. But more than that, these programs, Medicaid and Medicare, are not sustainable long term unless they have some real fixes. And addressing the fraud, how we go about that, we can certainly debate and have disagreements on. But I do believe that a large majority of Americans want fraud, waste, and abuse to be cut out. So that's going to be a key point here for Republicans to message in terms of how this legislation goes forward to their districts, to their constituents.
Let's talk about messaging for a second, because Walmart last week sent the message, Paul, that it was going to have to raise prices because of the tariffs. I want you to listen to what the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said about that over the weekend.
I did speak to Doug McMillan, who I have a very good relationship, yesterday, just to understand what he had to say. And, understand that came from an earnings call. On an earnings call, because of SEC requirements, they have to give the most draconian case. So Walmart will be absorbing some of the tariffs. Some may get passed on to consumers.
So Axios picked up on the last part of what Scott Bessent said right there, that some of it will get passed on to consumers. Because on the subject of messaging, Paul, that's a different message than the administration has ever said, frankly, on tariffs. That's the Treasury Secretary saying that some of the costs, and he said it at the end there, will be passed on.
Right. You're going to pay more, America, because of Mr. Trump's policies, because of Mr. Trump's tariffs. You're going to pay more at Walmart. Because of his cuts in Medicaid, you're going to pay more at the doctor's office, or maybe not even be able to afford it. Donald Trump won mostly because of inflation. The border was a big part of it, but even bigger, people wanted to cut the costs of groceries, gas, and rent. And Mr. Trump is raising those costs. This bill raises those costs. His tariffs raise those costs. It is a massive betrayal. And I think that should be the Democrats' message. Betrayal, betrayal, betrayal. These are good people who've supported Donald Trump. They thought he would bring their costs down, and now Trump is stabbing them in the back. He's betraying the very people who put him in office. And by the way, it's not just messaging. You can call it reform. I love more, but you can call it reform. It's like It's like my dog Gus. Okay, we reformed him. Well, okay, what we really did, we cut him. And that which used to work real well didn't work no more. And Gus was not very happy with the procedure. It's a cut.
Oh, man. Gus is not happy with where this discussion went. Maura, very quickly, to what extent has the White House moved through this complicated minefield on tariffs that was of its own creation?
They are staying with the president, obviously. They want to stick with him and see this through. And I think there are a handful, obviously a large portion of the MAGA supporters are trying to be patient and see this through. But the reality is, and I won't go into Paul's analogy there, but talking about tariffs in the way that many Republicans were saying, this is a tax. The tariff is a tax, and it comes to the American people. And this was discussed a lot during the election and during the campaign season, just trying to remind people of what this really means, because I think there is a confusion about it, the way that Trump talked about it during the campaign and then now seeing it and feeling it. It is to be seen whether or not he can secure some deals. He's going to need to get some wins here, but the impact on the American consumer is going to be felt. For how long, we just don't know yet.
All right, Maura Gillespie, Paul Begala, give our regards to Gus. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.